you're here today. I'm excited that you're here because I recently heard the most epic fairy tale I've ever heard in my entire life, and I would like to share it with all of you. Do you want to hear a fairy tale? Say aye. Aye. Oh, that's good. Those ladies, the story that I heard is the comedic farce of Romeo and Juliet. Ooh. How many of you know the story of Romeo and Juliet? Do you know it? You do? Okay, good. Oh, good, because I skimmed it. So I think I have all the parts. So if I forget something, let me know at the end. You all got that? Say aye. Aye. Are you ready for a fairy tale? Say aye. Aye. And without further ado, I present to all of you the comedic farce of Romeo and Juliet. Ooh. As told by Gwendolyn Steele. All of those reactions are appropriate. All right. Here we go, focus. Hold on 1 second. My mic tape is sliding and my microphone feels weird. Okay, good. Here we go. Everything's fine. Oh, good. Parents are gonna cooperate. I don't know how to be a parent. I'm pretty sure I don't have any kids. I'm gonna focus. Once upon a time in the ancient kingdom of Verona, there lived a beautiful princess named Juliet Capulet. All Juliet wanted was to find love and be loved in return, but her father decided that he would be the one to choose who she would marry. So he locked her high in a tower, so she couldn't even meet any eligible suitors. Oh. Meanwhile, in the same kingdom of Verona, there lived a handsome but a bit immature prince named Romeo Montague. Romeo was allowed to choose who he would marry, and he had his heart set on his flavor of the week, the fair Rosaline. Unfortunately, Rosaline had just subscribed to Match.com for an entire year, and she was not about to lose that $32.99. Which means Romeo spent a lot of time complaining to his best friend Mercutio about how relationships never work out. He's probably gonna be alone forever. Why does he even bother? Alright, yes, I did see that other drink happen there, Willow. I have drink dark. But okay, so a bunch of people just, hey, you guys, you're just in time. You haven't missed anything. You guys, some people just showed up at the show, so I want to catch them up to the story really quick, all right? Yeah. Okay, so anyone who just walked in, you guys over there, and you two right over there, and there's some people over there. So this is the story so far. This is a comedic farce of Romeo and Juliet. Juliet's up in the tower. We don't know her up upstairs. What I think is that she has a teleportation device and she's not sharing the technology. She's not allowed to choose who she's going to marry. Her dad's going to choose for her. #patriarchy. Romeo's not allowed to. He is allowed to choose who he wants to marry. He wants to marry Rosaline. Rosaline's like, you play too many video games and you never listen to me. And he's like, what? And so they're not going to get married. That's not what we got. You guys got it? Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, hold on. Is that a clip-on dress? No? I don't know how to answer that well. Romeo and Juliet. Okay, one night, Lord Capulet, that's Juliet's father, Pause. Pause for drastic measures, you guys. I don't know if you're ready for this. Some of you might know what's about to happen. Here it comes. This is, you guys make me do this. Blame everybody else. I am gonna blame, I haven't left the stage. I'm not allowed, there's a force field. Okay, so, one night, Lord Capulet, that's Juliet's father, decided to throw a big masquerade party. Do you guys know what a masquerade party is, yeah? Okay, if you don't know what a masquerade party is, that's okay. Masquerade party is a party where everyone goes, they all wear masks, so you can't tell who anybody is, so you can get into a lot of mischief and not actually get in trouble. Okay, but here's the thing, you guys. Do not confuse that with a bank robbery, because that's another occasion where everyone wears masks, so you can't tell who anybody is, so you can get into a lot of mischief but not actually get in trouble. You have to keep those things separate. You have to keep them separate, because if you like accidentally confuse them, then you are not allowed to go back to Oklahoma anymore. For like 5 to 7 years. It depends on the judge. I'm not supposed to talk about it while it's under investigation. Anyway. Everyone in the kingdom was invited to Lord Capulet's party. Everybody except for Romeo's family, the Montagues. You see, the Montagues and the Capulets had this decades-old feud. It was something about one of them watched the entire season of The Boys before the other one, and then they posted about it, and then they posted about it on Facebook, but you know how you can do the whole spoiler alert, click to continue? Yeah, right? They didn't do that. It was this huge thing. Did you guys all watch The Boys? Yes. No, you didn't. Okay, and they had. Okay, if you didn't watch The Boys, substitute in The Witcher? Still no. Substitute in, Loki. Yes, okay. Are you patronizing me? Did you watch The Witcher, Willow? No. Did you watch Game of Thrones? No. Okay, how old are you again? 9? Okay, how about, The Brady Bunch? Seinfeld. Big Bang Theory. How I Met Your Mother. Blue's Clues. Peppa Pig. Gravity Falls. I don't even know what that is. So here's the thing, So it was this huge thing. Romeo's family was not invited to the Capulets' party, but Romeo, being the immature prince that he is, he decided to crash the party anyway. That night, everyone was winding and grinding. Why are you so weird, Maryland? This is not what you should do in public, especially like on a stage in front of some people. My parents are real proud of my career. Romeo walked into the room. This is what he sees. Everyone stopped and staring at he. He had passion in his pants and he ain't afraid to show it, show it, show it. Yeah, he does know it. You guys, people in Colorado don't know that song. It's really weird. I think it's because they're high. I mean, no, they are both high. I can't leave this rose down here. Hold on. Okay, anyway, it's fine. Everything's fine. Romeo scanned the room, almost immediately locked eyes with Juliet, and it was love at first sight. Aww. They made their way over to each other. Again, not like this, because if someone came at me doing this, I would leave. I'd be like, oh no, I gotta go, my dog's on fire. Once Romeo and Juliet were face to face, they had a brief conversation, then they kissed. Which is weird. Like, you shouldn't kiss people that you just met. I mean, I'm not saying that I didn't do that for all 4.5 years of college, because I totally did. But you shouldn't kiss people that you just met. That's how you get mono. Everyone take a drink. What's mono? Okay, mono, Latin for one, and got it? Yep, exactly. You ask your adults on the way home. Anyway, suddenly the clock struck midnight. Romeo had to run home before he got turned back into a pumpkin. I know. Juliet asked her nurse who the handsome man was running out the door, and Juliet's nurse told her that his name was Romeo and he was a Montague. When Juliet heard that, she was devastated. Had her only love sprung from her only hate? Dun dun dun! It's dramatic music. Oh, I know. We can all do it, and then it's like we're all part of the show. Ready? Here we go. Dun, dun, dun! Beautiful. Extra credit for using your hands. Yeah. Later that night, Romeo decided he just had to see Juliet again, so he climbed over the wall of her courtyard and went up to her tower. Juliet, Juliet, he cried, let down your hair. Juliet's hair was not long enough, so they had to settle for yelling to each other from a distance. At first, Juliet was furious with Romeo for having crashed the masquerade party. She thought he might get hurt or even killed for having dared to come into her courtyard, but after another brief conversation, Romeo convinced Juliet to marry him. Yeah. Well, that's also weird, though. Like, if you shouldn't marry people that you just met. I mean, if you guys did that, I'm not going to judge you, but you should. It's Verona, not Vegas. Right? Yes, Willow, you can ask questions at the end of the show. If you get married in Vegas, you get to go into like a neon chapel with an Elvis and a dance. What's a dancer? What's an Elvis? Oh. You summer child. Okay. Juliet agreed to marry Romeo, and Romeo said that a friar Tuck could come to... Jeez. I don't know what's happening. Why do I have to squat? Who laughed over there? Everyone take a drink of your drink. So Romeo convinced Juliet to marry him, and Romeo said that if Juliet could come to church the next day, he would have Friar Tuck there ready to marry them. To marry them together, not Friar Tuck get married to each of them. Friars can't get married, especially to two people at once. That's illegal. Yeah, no, it's even illegal in Utah. No, yeah. I checked. Juliet agreed. What? The one place. Oh yeah, I'll tell you about it later. Mute. You're my favorite with the feather right there. You're my favorite. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so, Friar Tuck, and yeah, can't marry two people at once. Okay, so Juliet agreed to go to church. The next morning, Juliet was getting ready to go to church, but her parents stopped her. They had a surprise for Juliet. No, had finally decided who Juliet was going to marry. They decided Juliet was going to marry the County Paris dramatic music. Dun, dun, dun. When Juliet heard that, she was devastated. She's about to go get secret married to Romeo. She didn't want to marry the County Paris. Juliet begged and pleaded with her parents not to make her do it, but they said if she did not follow their rules, they were going to ground her till she was 32. I know! That's like 19 years from now. Don't do the math, it makes the whole show real weird. I'm gonna put my mouth under it.
I can hold
get
up for you.
fired. Anyway, Juliet ran off to church anyway. Luckily, as promised, Friar Tuck was there ready to marry her and Romeo. After a brief wedding ceremony, Romeo and Juliet said their I do's, then they parted ways. As Romeo was happily skipping down the block, he ran into Tybalt to dramatic music.
Dun, dun, dun! Tybalt!
With Romeo for having crashed the masquerade party, Tybalt challenged Romeo to a duel.
Dun, dun, dun! Tybalt!
I had already forgotten about the meow. Hi, you guys are just in time. You haven't missed anything. Hey, you guys, some new people just came to the show, so I'm just going to catch them up to the story really quick, all right? All right, mute. Okay, this is the story so far, okay? Don't get it too close. The universe is like, that's weird. Okay, so this is the story so far. I'm so sorry about what you just walked into. I don't know what's happened. I blacked out 7 minutes ago. This is the comedic farce of Romeo and Juliet. Juliet's locked in the tower, so she's not in the tower. What I think is she has a dumb waiter. She lifts the thing, goes inside, puts it behind her. You got the power of those by hand. Romeo's not locked in the tower. He was never locked in the tower. He crashed a masquerade party that you're not supposed to go to. If you accidentally crash a masquerade party instead of a bank robbery, then you show up at the bank robbery with your fancy masquerade dress that you got from Amazon, and everyone to the heist is like, we told you to get a ski mask, and you're like, I never check my emails anyway. And they're like, go sit in the getaway car, and it's super boring. I've been drinking. Anyway, this is a child who's 9 years old. She's learning a lot from my show. Her name is Willow. Anyway, so Romeo stalked Juliet to her. She went to a party he wasn't invited to, and then he stalked Juliet to her house. Before that happened, they made out. And did you know I made out with a lot of people in college? I made out with a lot of people in college. I made out with so many people. I had a list going. Yeah, I thought you looked familiar. Oh my god. Yes. Okay. Good. No, it's good. We'll talk later. Okay, and so I'm not talking about making out for bragging. I'm talking about it because of advertising. Juliet got married to each other, and then Romeo was running around. He ran into Tybalt, and everyone said, "Hold on, wait for your cue, damn it!" And that was dramatic music.
Dun, dun, dun!
And they're all freaking weird. I don't know what is happening. So they're gonna fight, and that's where we are right now. You guys got it? Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. Tybalt was furious with Romeo for having crashed the masquerade party. Tybalt challenged Romeo to a duel.
Dun, dun, dun! Tybalt!
But Romeo did not want to fight Tybalt because Romeo was married to Juliet, and Juliet was Tybalt's cousin, which meant Tybalt and Romeo were friends with benefits. Yeah. Romeo did not. No. Oh. I'm gonna have to make an awkward phone call later. Romeo did not want to fight Tybalt, so instead Mercutio, Romeo's best friend from the beginning, jumped in to fight Tybalt for him. Tybalt and Mercutio fought, and as they were fighting, Romeo tried to pull them apart, but while he was doing that, Tybalt stabbed Mercutio right underneath Romeo's arm.
Dun, dun, dun! Tybalt!
As Mercutio died, he placed a curse on both their houses. He turned Tybalt into a beast, and he gave him a rose. And he said, unless you can learn to love another and earn their love in return before the last petal falls. will be doomed to remain a beast for all time. Do not tell Disney that I did that, but you can tell on them. Romeo was so furious that Tybalt had murdered his best friend that he chased Tybalt down and he stabbed him to death. Hold on, wait a minute. I mean, it's probably better because Tybalt was a beast. He was going to shed everywhere. The rest of the Capulets found out that Romeo had murdered Tybalt, so they demanded that he be banished to the fiery pits of Mordor for all eternity. You're so weird.
Tybalt.
Everything's fine, you guys. I don't know where I am, Johnny. Mordor, yeah, I feel like I'm in Mordor. Yeah, thank you. When Juliet's nurse found out what was going on, Juliet's nurse ran home to Juliet's tower to tell her that Tybalt had been murdered and Romeo had been banished. When Juliet heard that, she was devastated. She began crying and wailing and wailing and crying, and finally, just to get her to shut up, Juliet's nurse promised she would bring Romeo to the tower that night. Well, nurses always make good on their word. Romeo showed up at the tower that evening, and then Romeo and Juliet had a slumber party. Morning, as Romeo was getting ready to leave, Romeo and Juliet had a lovely discussion about ornithology. That's the study of birds. And then Romeo left. As soon as Romeo left, Juliet's mother burst in the door. She had another surprise for Juliet. Not only was Juliet going to marry the Count of Paris, but she was going to do it in 3 days' time. When Juliet heard that, she was devastated. She was already secret married to Romeo. She couldn't marry the Count of Paris. We already went over that twice. You can't marry 2 people once. But I bet if you could get away with marrying more than 1 person at a time, you could have a TV show. You can put it on TLC, because they'll air anything. Juliet ran off to church to see if Friar Tuck had any bright ideas about how to get her out of this pickle. This is the pickle button. No, not yet. I can't sleep. Okay, luckily Friar Tuck is a super smart guy, and Friar Tuck had a whole specific plan worked out just in case such a weird random occasion like this should arise. First, Friar Tuck gave Juliet a little bottle of potion. On the bottle, it said, "Drink me." And he told Juliet when she drank from the potion, it would make her get smaller and smaller and smaller until she was very small. And then she could run and hide from her parents. They would come looking for her to ask her to get her to marry the Count of Paris, but they wouldn't be able to find her, and eventually they would give up looking. Then Friar Tuck gave Juliet a little cake, and on the cake it said, "Eat me." And he told Juliet when she ate from the cake, it would make her get bigger and bigger and bigger until she was back to normal size, and it says, "Drink me and eat me." Go back to your table. Don't clap for him. Okay. Like, this is 100,000 calories, you guys, so just don't expect me to wear a corset next season. Juliet, smaller, Juliet would, eat me cake, and Juliet could eat that and then make her get. Everyone take a drink of your drink. My boss is going to find out all about you, Willow. And make her get bigger and bigger until she was back to normal size, and then Juliet could run away and live happily ever after with Romeo in the fiery pits of Mordor for all eternity. Yeah, Juliet thought this was a great idea because Juliet is 13 years old. So she took her drinking potion and her eat me cake, and she ran back to her tower. When Juliet was all alone, she took a drink from her drink me potion, and it worked. It made her get smaller and smaller and smaller until she was teensy weensy, and then she scurried underneath her dresser and she hid. Her parents came looking for her to make her marry the Count of Paris, but they were unable to find her, and eventually they gave up looking. No, okay, listen, parents, if your child goes missing, you keep looking for them. You can't look for them for a bit and be like, we tried for 45 minutes, it's fine, we'll make more. That's hashtag bad parenting. Meanwhile, Friar Tuck wrote this whole letter to Romeo explaining the entire situation, but you never can trust the mail service, and Romeo never got the letter. When he found out that Juliet was missing, he started going crazy. He started wandering around with no hat upon his head, his double-arm brace, his knees knocking together and looking as pale as his shirt. He was ranting and raving about hawks and handsaws, and finally, Romeo's stepfather decided it would be a good idea to send Romeo off to England to cool off. I decided England's over there. Because you're not going to check, and you can't see it from here because there's a wall. Meanwhile, back in Juliet's tower, she realized no one was looking for her anymore, so she came out from underneath her dresser. Juliet took out her little eat-me cake to make her get bigger, and she took a tiny bite. But it didn't seem to do anything. So she took another bite, and soon she was growing bigger and bigger and bigger until she was as big as the house. Her arms stuck out the windows of the house, and her legs stuck out the doors of the house, and then this little white rabbit hopped by, and he was like, Marianne, we have no time for it to be as big as a house. Get back to normal size. And Juliet was like, I don't know where you came from, little white rabbit. I feel like I'm still in college. That was a joke about drugs. But you're full of ideas! And the little white rabbit pushed into a cloud of smoke, and Juliet drank from her drinking potion. It made her get smaller and smaller until she was back to normal size. All of that growing and shrinking made Juliet exhausted, so she decided to lay down and take a nap. Meanwhile, Romeo came back from England without his two best friends, but feeling much better about himself and his situation. He decided he had to go to Juliet's tower one more time, so he climbed up and went in, and what should he find there? But Juliet herself asleep on the bed. Romeo did the only thing that princes do in stories like this. He gently shook her awake and asked permission to kiss her because consent is important. Luckily, Juliet said yes, and Romeo and Juliet hugged and they kissed, and since no one was looking for Juliet anymore to make her marry the Count of Paris, they quickly ran away to live happily ever after in the fiery pits of Mordor for all eternity. The end. Thank you. Thank you. Did I get all the parts of the story? Yeah? Did I miss anything? No. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, question. Am I okay? In what sense? That is a multifaceted question and answer. Willow, not yet. Okay. Yes, purple hair. Say that again. What's mono? Will you go explain to the purple hair person what mono is, please, Willow? I already told you. It's Latin, which is a dead language. And Catholics read it. And it used to say, it's what? It's half of stereo. If you have one speaker, like when you're in your car and you put one speaker in, that's one earbud, I don't know what they're called. An earbud, thank you, 9-year-old. That's mono. If you put two in, that's duo. Stereo. I'm not from here. Another question. Well, no, you. Don't trust you. Yes.
Can you maybe say that again? I didn't get all the parts, like the whole story.
Can I maybe say that again? You didn't get all the parts, like the whole story?
Yeah.
All right, this was the whole story, you guys, in case you missed anything. Are you ready? Say aye. Aye! So loud and terrifying, and this is for you. You better appreciate this. Okay, this is coming to parts of Romeo and Juliet. Juliet was locked in the tower. We don't know how she gets out of the tower, but I think it is she has a grappling hook on that she got from her friend Bruce at a party last week, and she shoots him into the other tower. She ziplies all the way down. Romeo's not locked in the tower. He wanted to see Rosalind, and Rosalind was like, get a job. And he was like, I have a job. And she's like, you work pizza. You're not even a manager, so they're not going to get married. Romeo crashed a masquerade party. It's not the same as a bank robbery. If you accidentally confuse a masquerade party to a bank robbery, you can't go back to Oklahoma, but no one likes Oklahoma anyway, right? Then Romeo went to a masquerade party that he wasn't invited to, and so he went and made out with Juliet. And how old are you?
13.
How old are you?
13.
13. I'm going to skip the rest of the part about mono. And then so he went to Romeo and Juliet. Romeo stopped Juliet to her house, proposed to her, and they're going to get married. They went to Friar Tuck to get married. She was supposed to marry the Count of Paris. That sounds like a place, but it's actually a person's name. But her parents were really mad about it because she went to Friar Tuck and got married anyway. And then Romeo was running around and he ran into Tybalt. He wanted to fight. He didn't want to fight Tybalt. Tybalt wanted to fight him, and so Mercutio fought him and said, and I did a line from Disney, but you're not going to tell Disney, are you? Maybe. I will find you. And so Romeo killed Scylla, and then everyone was mad at him, so he got banished to Mordor, and then he went to Juliet's house anyway, and they had a slumber party. And the slumber party is a place where you go and you eat pizza, and you practice baking vegetarian, putting it on nail polish and making out. And so they did that, and then Romeo left, and then Juliet was supposed to marry Connie Paris in 3 days, so she went out to fire. Talk about pickles. You already deflated your pickles, unfortunate. And so Juliet got a plan. She had a little drink me cake and an drink me potion, eat me cake. Drink me potion made her get smaller, eat me cake made her get bigger. She did both of those things, and then she took a nap. Romeo went to England. He came back without his 2 best friends because he put him in a barrel, pushed him off the boat. And he came back and he went to Juliet's tower like a stalker, and then he was like, oh, I want to kiss her, but I should ask consent first, and that's a very important lesson. And then she said yes, and they got married, and they kissed, and then they went to Mordor and lived happily ever after. Got it. And you still have hands up, you ridiculous people. In the back. Yes, you with a pretty brain. You have a very serious question. I'm going to come to you because you're quiet. The logistics of the dumbwaiter that Juliet has in her tower, that's sometimes how she might get up and down, yes? How else does she get up and down besides the dumbwaiter and the grappling hook gun? And then also she has a teleportation device. She's not showing the technology. And there's a trellis outside, so she simmers up and down that. She has really good upper body strength. And sometimes when she slips her, I shouldn't say what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Don't tell my boss. Don't tell my boss. She gets her parents, they have a lot of wine, and then they fall asleep, and so she tiptoes out because she has very special shoes. You should never try this, Willow, when you're grown up. And so she gets out that way, and another way that she gets out is she has a helicopter land on the top of her tower. She has special clearance. She got it from the government. And so that comes down, and she does the cool thing though. She doesn't just it doesn't land and she gets in. Yeah, no, it drops a ladder rope, and she goes up, and then Tom Cruise is waiting for her, which is weird because he's a Scientologist, so she pushes him out. So what I'm saying is she has a lot of ways of getting out of that tower. I don't know where she is right now because the chip I put in her neck is not working anymore. Yes, yellow dress. Where's Loki in this? I wanted to have Loki in this, but I couldn't reach a deal with his agent because I'm an actor. I don't have any money. So I was like, $5, I'll put you in my story. And he was like, no. And then he stabbed me with his horn, and I have just a little scar right there. But it's fine. It's fine. Yes. What happens to which invisible? The one I put here. What happens to the invisible berry? That I went off the stage. Oh yeah, so so what happened to the invisible? I put an invisible barrier at the stage, which meant I couldn't leave the stage, but I just left the stage. So invisible barriers here in Revel Grove, they only last for 15 and a half minutes, so it expired. And then I forgot about it because some people were yelling out questions. So I didn't renew it. You got to pay $15.99 to renew it, and I didn't. I'm an actor. I don't have any money. Yes, Red Child. Does Juliet go to the gym to work out? She does sometimes, but she doesn't really have to because she has that trellis. So she just climbs up and down that trellis, and then she's like, "Hey Tom, come on over. We're gonna try and climb up and down trellises." And so Tom Holland comes over, and they climb up and down the trellis. I didn't know if you guys were gonna get it unless I said his last. And so they go up and down the trellises together, and they race, and it's great. And then sometimes she pushes him off, but it's fine. He just bounces. I don't trust him. Thank you for pointing him out. Yes, child in the blue shirt. Can I restart the story? I am contractually obligated to be done with my show in approximately 7 minutes, so no, I cannot restart the story, but I'm here tomorrow at 11:30 and 5:30. Yes. What's with the jar and the rose? The jar is, it says, fill me with cider, please. And so I did not make this, but it does fit 17 ciders and 2 apples. And so and then the rose, I don't have a vase. I improvised like a Girl Scout, as a Girl Scout for Halloween. So it's great, yes.
Did you write for Rings of Power? Because I think your interpretation is...
Did I write for Rings of Power? Because my interpretation is similar to that. Do you like Rings of Power?
It was entertaining.
It was entertaining, you say hesitantly. Did you like it? Yes or no?
It was not Tolkien.
It was not Tolkien. Then no, I did not write for Rings of Power. No, not at all. Not at all. Standing in the back, yes please.
Is Romeo on the managerial track now that he's in Mordor?
Is Romeo on the managerial track at Pizza Hut now that he's in Mordor? Good question. Romeo, see, so here's the thing, is Romeo got sent to Mordor, and I don't know if you know this, but time in Mordor doesn't exist. So he missed his next 3 shifts, and he got fired, but he didn't realize, he got fired, but not like fiery pits fired, he just got like fired from his job. And so he went back to go to Pizza Hut, and they were like, why are you here? And he's like, because I work here. And they're like, no, you don't. And then they sidekicked him off, and there was like Batman, kapow, like that. And so then he got blasted all the way back to Mordor, and so now he has a different job in Mordor, but it's very minimal. He doesn't work a lot. He resupplies the asbestos that prevents people from getting on fire. He doesn't work a lot because asbestos is not good for you. No, it's not. No. No. Yes.
Juliet realized that she's better at single and just leave Romeo.
Does Juliet realize that she's better single and just leave Romeo? She does. Okay, fine. I guess you guys have to leave. Okay, she does. I thought we were gonna make out. Okay. She gets married to Romeo and she focuses on her career. They don't have kids right away. Focuses on her career. She goes to night school to become a nurse, and then she's like really involved in the nurse practitioner stuff. And he never really gets past the managerial level of being the asbestos replenisher. That's the official title. And so they do spoiler alert, they break up later. But I mean, yay, I guess. Like they got together too young. Yes, blonde lady. Since Romeo and Juliet are broken up, Sauron's hot now. Did Juliet get with him? The thing is, like, once they broke up, she was allowed to move out of Mordor, and I don't know if you know this, but she was working outside of Mordor, and like she couldn't just walk back and forth into Mordor. She had to take a tram, and that was always like really out of schedule. So she just moved out of Mordor. So she didn't do that. Lords and ladies, you are ridiculous, but thank you so much for being here with me. I really very much appreciate all of you. If you have more questions, you can come up to the front and ask them. I'm going to be here for a minute. I've got buttons and stickers for sale if you'd like to take a piece of the show home with you, not in a gross way. And I also have postcards where you can come grab, with all of my social media information on them. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. So come grab one of those. Up next on the stage in about 6 minutes is going to be the organ being played by Master Tallis, and it's going to be amazing. The pub sing has already started if you wanted to see that. In about 5 minutes, Piper Jones is going to start at the Boar's Head, and then at the very end of the day, everyone sings outside the gates. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Maryland Renaissance Festival today. I really appreciate it.